Hey y'all, welcome back to another recap of episode 18, Love Yours.
Yes, yes. Little J. Cole, little J. Cole. He just talked about how just looking at somebody else, or how sometimes social media people can be on there looking like they just got the best cars and the best house and the best wives and the best kids, the best job, but they ain't really working and they don't do none of that stuff. But everything is the best for them. But then when we take inventory, we kind of be like, womp womp, and we begin to question what we got going on. So that's what we talked about. Loving yours and just making sure that you do that. How do you do that though, Sonny?
Well, first of all, we already know, and as you said in a few episodes, half of that stuff is Photoshop. We don't know what's right, what's wrong, what's up, what's down, all of this stuff. We don't know what goes on at people's houses, what it takes for them to get up and do everything that they're doing and all of this stuff that they're showing us for entertainment purposes. So, I think that plays a large role in the whole thing. So,
Yeah, it definitely does. Then just also, sometimes we tend to keep going through life in the everyday hustle and bustle, and we forget to look at what we have and take inventory. Because sometimes if you just stop and you really look at what you have or where you came from, what you achieved, you looking pretty good, and it's all right.
yeah.
I think that Sonny said, or somebody may have said, like, there's always somebody worse than you, and there's always gonna be somebody better than you.
Every time.
But if you just stay in your lane, take your reality, your inventory of what you have, and be grateful for it, you'd be all right.
Yeah. And I was thinking about what you were saying when you were talking about, I think one of the questions was, is it jealousy?
Insecurity.
Is it jealousy or insecurity? Yeah. Another way to look at it is inspiration. You look at it as inspiration. And even if it takes you to go through the steps from jealousy to insecurity or insecurity to jealousy and say, you know what? When you get yourself from red to yellow to green, you can say, I'm going to use this as inspiration to find my purpose, to try to reach some new goals that, that are for me and not anyone else.
That's very true. That's very true. And the reason why I asked about, was jealousy a form of, or does it come from insecurities, is because sometimes, let's just face it, there are things that we feel like we don't do right. Or we can be our own worst critic. Yeah. Like we can just tear ourselves down and have those negative thoughts, right? About what we're doing. And that person over there could be selling lemonade just like you selling lemonade. Theirs don't even taste better than yours and don't look better than yours, but you just think they got something going. When it's just that your own thoughts getting in your way, or your own, self-sabotage, as I call it, because I can really do a number on myself sometimes.
Me too. In the episode, I was saying how every so often I take an inventory of what's going on and kind of beat myself up a little bit. But at the end, I come back to I'm where I'm supposed to be, And I feel like if you don't look at it that way, then you're going to go down, down, down into a depression or in a hole or something like that. But I was also thinking that some people feel like there's no other way.
Yeah.
They can't get out of that hole. They're just digging and digging and digging. And I understand it because I have felt that way before. But when you look at some people's situations, they just feel like it's not a way to get out of that. What you got on that?
So I definitely have been there before. I definitely have been in a place where, like I said, self-sabotage, or just feeling like you have nothing else. You just sit and you just stoop.
Mm.
And it grows like a little bit of cancer. It may be this big when it started out, but now it's like quicksand. Now you can't get out of it because all you thinking about is what you don't have, what you didn't do, where you're not going, how much money you don't have. And then you become the victim.
Mm.
And being the victim sometimes feels better than being the victor. Because being a victor, you actually have to do something like dig and climb
Mhm.
and reach and pull. So, it just depends on what you want to be and where you want to go. If you have the determination, you get there, but it's not easy. It's really not easy. But that brings me to our resolves where if you have some gratitude to just where you are and really say, you know what, I'm going to be grateful of where my life is, where it's going, you'll look up and you'll be out that hole.
Yeah. I was going to say, I know there may be some people listening saying that's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier said than done than when I'm over here and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my light bill or how I'm going to get my kids food to eat or how I'm going to get gas. How am I going to go to school so that I can be a barber that I want to be when I don't have money. I don't have the education that I should have. I don't have support. It sounds good. It sounds good. I can imagine that there are some people thinking that.
Yeah, it is easier said than done. And I'm smiling because my dad's words is coming to my head right now. Much is given where much is required. Nothing really in life is easy. You have to work for some stuff. It's going to be, and nobody said it's going to be easy. Nobody said it's going to be where you could just get it all on a silver platter and then boom, or you could be genie and go do 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 do, and then it appears. It's not going to be easy, but you have to make the choice to remember that you can.
Yeah. And our second resolve was live in your reality. Let your reality be yours and not anyone else's.
Yeah.
And that's also something that could be easier said than done because we're seeing these people that are living the lives that we want to live, and that's why people have so many followers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's one of the reasons that people have so many followers because they're living the life that we want. And instead of us working towards living the life that we want, we're sitting and watching them do it.
Yeah. And you know what? I used to always say, well, not always say, but I said at one point in time to my cousin who we talk about a lot of things. Sometimes I would say, well, are you living or are you trending? Like, what is your goal? Do you want to sit there and you want to just go through and just do all the little trends that they're doing or just be just like them or whatever? Or do you actually want to live? Do your life. Put your step forward. And that brings me to our last resolve. Live. Live a life that you love, that's inspiring, and that you value. Don't just do what they do. Live.
Which are all really great resolves. And hopefully they help you all. Hopefully they help someone out there and they could look at it from a lot of different viewpoints and put it towards what it is that they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
But we had a commenter. Well, we had a few comments, but our one of the comments was that they had a little tinge. They had a little tinge of that jealousy when they're looking at their coworkers retiring.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily feel like that's a real, because that's a real thing because it's coming. You're working towards it and you know it's coming as long as you still here, as long as you still
but
there.
they doing it tomorrow. And I got 2 years, 45 hours and
Count down to the seconds.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for that comment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody else that commented as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We want to thank y'all for stopping by here.
Yes.
We want to thank y'all for stopping by again for another recap. Join us next week for an episode, Me, Myself, and I. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, and look for the episode.
Yes. Remember, Not all colorful situations are the same, but you have the power to change your hues.